Hi, welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the finer things in life without going overboard. Today I wanted to share how I wear my Hermes silk scarf. So this is the 90 by 90 size, which I wore in a previous video 3 different ways as a top, and you asked me to share, so I'm going to go into that, as well as how I've been using my Fendace wrapper. So I will show you how I wrap this on my garden party as well as my Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis. But before we get into it, I wanted to welcome all my new viewers. My name is Joanne and I talk about luxury handbags and other luxury lifestyle products. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like this video and subscribe below. But if you're a returning subscriber, I also wanted to share that I plan on slowing down my video uploads for the moment for 2 main reasons. And those reasons are, first, I just started a new job which I wanted to focus my attention on because this channel is all about practicality and being realistic. And let's be real, you first have to earn that money to spend it on luxury items. The second reason I'm slowing down my uploads a little bit is also I want to make sure each and every video is helpful and useful content for you guys. For example, I have picked up some new H things, but I want to try it out and actually form some recommendations and opinions before just sharing an unboxing that might not be as useful. So I really want to edit my content to make sure, again, that each video is helpful for you guys. That's the reason why I started this channel. So I might not be uploading videos every single weekend. I'm not stopping completely. Make sure to hit that bell so you're notified when that new video comes in. Now let's get into it. Let's start with my favorite method of wearing the silk 90 by 90 scarf as a top. So I also want to give credit where it's due, and I actually learned how to wear the scarf these ways through Isabel Styles' video. So I will link her video below where she goes into more detail on more ways to wear the Hermes scarf. But I just picked out my favorites and I wanted to give you some tips that I learned while I did it myself. So the first way is to tie a knot about 1/3 of the way down from the middle of the scarf. So let's see, this is the middle, and let's see, if this is halfway down the scarf, you want to kind of go up a little bit, and you're just going to want to tie a knot here. So don't worry about hurting your scarf. It's very durable material, and there might be a few wrinkles when you shake it out at the end of the day, but it's going to be fine. You're not going to rip anything, and you just want to make sure that this knot is pretty secure because you don't want anyone pulling on your top as you are wearing it and for the knot to come apart, because that would just reveal a little too many things. So I tied a pretty small knot with this part sticking out, and again, don't be worried about tying it too tight. Your scarf can handle it. So you're going to aim the knot part of it towards your chest, and then you're going to use the corners on the sides of the knot as your halter top tie. And I'm just tying the knot right behind my neck here so that it is comfortable. You know, I'm not choking myself. I actually have quite a bit of room, so you can tie it tighter if you want. I could tuck in the red if I wanted, and then you just kind of have to, you know, fold it and make it sit how you like. So then, after you have the top all set up, the knot is going to be right in the middle of my chest here again, and then you have the rest 2/3 of the scarf you can play with, whether you want to lift it up a little bit, fold it over, and kind of tie it on the waist here. This gives you a little bit of like a peplum silhouette, or you could kind of like roll it under and then kind of tie it a little bit lower. So in my experience, you kind of want to make sure the sides are tight. I'm only wearing this spaghetti strap for demonstration purposes. Obviously, you're not going to wear it as you wear this top out. So you want to make sure that the scarf is going to fit your body so you're not exposing all of that. And then I am just going to make sure you have the corners. So that's where you're going to need to tie it. So hold both corners together, and then you're going to have to pull the sides again to make sure that it's tight. You can't just grab the corners and tie it at the bottom because that's going to leave a lot of flowy material that's not going to cover anything. Got the corners there, and then make sure you tie it together twice and make sure it's quite tight so that nobody else can just pull on the fabric and then tie it. So I'm pulling the top just to make sure it's tight on top as well. And then there you have it, my first way of wearing this scarf as a top. So let's get into the second way that I wore this, which was the most simple way, but also kind of hard to tie. So this is, as you would expect, probably the way most people would tie a tube top. You fold the corners together. So now you have a triangle. And then you kind of just tie the triangle around your chest, right? Well, I found this actually quite difficult because, first of all, maybe I'm a little flat-chested, and also the silk kind of doesn't want to stay. There's gravity in place, and you know, the silk is very smooth, so this could just slip off my chest pretty easily. You can see that. So what I actually did was I made sure to fold down the top intentionally, kind of have like another design feature where you have a border above the chest area. And then that also gave me a little bit more material up here in the back to tie it with. Again, you'll need to tie it pretty tight, as high as possible, because if you already tie it low, the gravity is just going to do the rest of the work and it's just going to come down. It can really slip on itself and just come down or not sit correctly. So just adjust. I'm going to make sure that my border is balanced, and that is the second way that I wore this scarf. For the last way, we are going to start again with a triangle. So fold your corners with each other. And then the ends of that triangle, you're going to tie together in a double knot. So that's one, and that's two. So again, make sure both sides are tight. Pull on all four ends of the knot. And then this is going to go around your neck. So this is going to be the halter part. And then you have the rest of the triangle here. Now it's kind of like in a scoop. And you're going to pull the two ends of your triangle apart. So this might need a little help as you kind of unfold the scarf from itself. You're definitely going to have a design feature where the fold of the scarf itself unfolds. But then you have these two triangles where you're gonna, again, tie on itself to create the rest of the top. Now, again, you wanna make sure to pull the sides tight, because if you leave it loose, it could reveal something as the breeze blows around. And then, again, just make sure all of your knots are very tight and pull as much material as you can from the scarf, both the ends and this part, because this also helps tighten it. And finally, you have the rest of the top. So now let's move on to how I wrap this Fendace Wrappy. First, I wanted to show you how long it actually is. So I have an Hermes twilly on this end and the Wrappy on this end. And you can see that this is where the twilly ends. And then after that, you still have, oh my gosh, this is almost like a full foot of the Wrappy. So the Wrappy is much longer than an Hermes twilly, and that's why I'm able to actually wrap the Wrappy around my garden party handles, which are quite large. So this is my garden party, and what I plan on doing is starting the wrap here and then making a bow on this side. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a very, very tight knot on one end. And this knot is going to be as small as possible and leave as short of a tail as possible, because I want to leave as much fabric on the other side to do the bow. So this is the very end of the wrappy, and I don't want to use much more material than that. I want to make sure it has a good shape though, so make sure there's at least a triangle tail that I can see, and then pull this tight right at the end of the handle. Now I want to make sure that I am wrapping from the outside in, because I want to end my bow inwards. And I also want to, again, conserve as much material as I can to make sure I have enough material at the end to make the bow. So I'm making my wrappings tight against the handle, but not tight against itself. So now I've reached the end, and this is where I'm going to start to make my bow. So you're going to take the end of that material and first fold it over on itself to make the first half of the top of the bow. And then once you do that, you're going to twist that center area. So this is going to be the part that goes around the handle, but again, you want that twist to make sure that it lays nicely. Now you're going to want that end to come over top of that folded piece. So you don't want it to go behind the fold. You want it to go in front where you have that fold. And then you're going to tuck it underneath and through that wrap that you just made with that fold. So you're going to come over in front of, under the bottom, and then pull out your second ear of the bow. And make sure you're pulling out the side that you want it to show. I wanted to show the pink side, which is why I made sure that's the part I was pulling through. And then you're just going to want to adjust and make sure the silk folds are laying how you want it. You might want to try re-knotting it at a few different angles. And then there you have it. Make sure both ends are kind of symmetrical if you like that look. So I'm just adjusting both tail ends and then making sure every part is tight. Now I also wanted to just mention that when I took my wrappy off of the garden party handles after 1 week, I did see some darkness. So I think that some of the dark black leather dye did transfer onto my pale wrappy. So make sure you are unwrapping the silk from the handles from time to time. The leather handles do need to breathe, and you also want to check for color transfer on your silk twilly or wrappy. And I was able to get the dark stain off just with some warm water and soap, just like I tackle all stains that I find. So it was not a big deal. The color transfer did come off, so just make sure you're checking for that, especially if you're wrapping the silk on a darker color handle. Moving on to the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis, I plan on wrapping the Fendace Wrappy over the top handle. And since this top handle is quite small, you could probably get away with using the shorter Hermes twilly size and not have to use so much material for the wrappy. But the first thing I'm going to do is fold the wrappy exactly in half so it is symmetrical. I want the same length silk on each side. And then I'm going to tie a tight knot on that one end of the handle, just so it has a secure place to start out from. And then I'm going to just start wrapping the silk under and over the top of that handle. It's a little bit messy, but that's fine. I like that look. I don't want it to look super uniform. I just want to make sure all of the material is covering the handle. And then at the end, I'm just going to tie another knot and make sure it's secure, and then flip over the side to show the pink side that I want it to. And I actually really like the look of the long ends hanging down, so this is how I carried it. But because there is so much material for the length of this end, you are able to tie a small bow if that's the look that you like. So multiple ways to tie it with such a long wrappy. It gives you some more options. For this Fendace label, you are able to cut it off if you would like. They did sew it on with just a small thread, so it makes it really easy to come off if it gets annoying and gets in the way as you're wrapping your handles, but I've left it on for now and I'll see if it gets too annoying at one point. So there you have it, my wrapped Pochette Metis. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!